Ross Kemp, famed for his role as Grant Mitchell in EastEnders, discusses potential return to the show. Reflecting on his iconic character and past returns, Kemp acknowledges the possibility. He also humorously addresses his appearance, expressing contentment despite desires for a fuller head of hair, rejecting cosmetic changes. BBC EastEnders star Ross Kemp opens up on returning to Albert Square as Grant. EastEnders icon Ross Kemp played notorious Hardman Grant Mitchell and cemented himself as one of the soap's most iconic characters. Ross Kemp has opened up on the possibility of returning to EastEnders as his iconic character Grant Mitchell. Since leaving Walford, the actor has been questioned whether the notorious Hardman will return to the BBC soap. Speaking to The Times in an interview, Ross shared whether or not he'd go back. He said, "EastEnders finds its way into most days. Often it's somebody calling me Grant. I don't get annoyed, I'm proud of my 10 years on the show. Would I go back? Never say never. I've been back twice. One of those was because Barbara Windsor was ill, she asked me to come back for Peggy's funeral. Those tears you saw were real. She was one of my dearest friends." Ross played Grant Mitchell, who was Barbara Windsor's on-screen son. The 83-year-old portrayed Peggy Mitchell, but she sadly passed away in 2020 after being diagnosed with Alzheimer's 6 years earlier. Grant arrived in Albert Square with his brother Phil in February 1990 but left the show after almost 10 years. He briefly returned in 2005 and 2006, and then came back in 2016 when his mother Peggy was ill. In 2022, Grant appeared in a flashback scene. Fans are anticipating that Ross' character will return for a comeback after BBC bosses brought back Cindy Beale from the dead. Last year, one fan tweeted on, "Grant Mitchell coming back is something that I need to happen." Another fan commented, "I've always watched EastEnders and what I think they need to boost viewing figures is some happy stories and also bring back Grant Mitchell. Don't miss." ITV thrown into chaos as Ekin-Su pulls out of Lorraine interview last minute. Watch unseen moment Greg Rutherford suffered freak dancing on ice accident. GMB's Ed Balls scolded for intrusively question leaving guest embarrassed. Also during his interview, Ross has revealed why he would never have a hair transplant. Despite wishing he had a head full of hair, he doesn't want to change himself for anyone. He said, "I look in the mirror and think, squashed Sultana. Do I wish I had a head of hair? Course, but I'd never have hair implants or plastic surgery to fix this bit under my chin. This is me. If you don't like it, you know what you can do." You can read Ross Kemp's full interview here. EastEnders airs on BBC One at 7:30 p.m. during weekdays. Ex-EastEnders star Ross Kemp explains not having a hair transplant. "This is me. If you don't like it, you know what you can do." Ex-EastEnders star Ross Kemp has revealed why he has never had a hair transplant. Despite wishing he had a full head of hair, it seems Kemp is determined to embrace his natural beauty, and he doesn't care what anyone else thinks. "I do try and make myself look presentable, which isn't easy with this face. I look in the mirror and think, squashed Sultana," the documentary maker joked in a column in the Sunday Times. EastEnders Spoilers, Martin's big return shock in 42 pictures. Like most people, Kemp admitted there are parts of himself he'd like to change but remained adamant that he isn't going to. "Do I wish I had a head of hair? Course, but I'd never have hair implants or plastic surgery to fix this bit under my chin. This is me. If you don't like it, you know what you can do. Don't get me wrong, I look after myself. I do sparring and jiu-jitsu 3 times a week. I run, do weights, I watch what I eat. Plenty of protein and veg." EastEnders Ben Mitchell tipped for sad exit storyline. Kemp left his iconic role as Grant Mitchell in EastEnders in 1999 and has since led a successful career making documentaries. He didn't rule out a return in the future. "Never say never," he said, before pointing out that he has returned to Albert Square twice since his exit. Kemp made similar comments back in 2022, when he was asked on The Big Breakfast whether he would go back full-time. And in January 2023, he said on the One Show, "I don't think you can ever say never, you know. I loved the part, I did it for 10 years. Doing lots of different things right now, but never say never." EastEnders Annette Badland looks worlds away from Aunt Babe in new casualty role. Former EastEnders star Annette Badland returns to our screens this Saturday in Charlie Fairhead's, Derek Thompson, final episode of Casualty. The actress is best known for playing evil Aunt Babe Smith in the BBC One soap, but is playing a character in the medical drama worlds away from her old alter ego. We last saw Babe in 2017, when she put a curse on Mick Carter and his family after her true villainous colors were revealed. The curse has turned out to have worked a charm, with Linda falling victim to an alcohol addiction, the couple nearly drowning in a boat crash, the Queen Vic being sold and Tina being murdered, not to mention the recent murderous drama involving the Six, and Mick being lost at sea. Annette will play the role of charge nurse Shirley Baldwin in Casualty. She features in flashback scenes that focus on an important day in a young Charlie's nursing career. In these new pictures, Annette can be seen with white hair, in a nursing uniform, looking focused and ready to do her job. It's a far cry from the character of Aunt Babe in EastEnders, who often wore cardigans, bobble hats and gilets. Shirley is also pictured confronting Charlie, with these flashback scenes airing as present-day Charlie drifts in and out of consciousness. Last week, Charlie's life was put in danger after being stabbed by a patient who was trying to steal supplies from the pharmacy in the hospital. After being found by Stevie and Faith, Charlie's future remains in jeopardy as the story picks up this week, but how will the beloved character's final scenes air? Derek has played Charlie since the very first episode of Casualty back in 1986. Over the years, he's been involved in some dramatic and major storylines, and recently, actor Derek Thompson, who will star in the next series of Blue Lights, reflected on his favorites. The one I felt most personally attached to as Charlie was the story of Duffy's death through vascular dementia back in February 2020, he said. Another was the story was from Series 34 in May 2020 of a young man whose son was in care, and he was being taken away by his mother to the States, so decides to kidnap his son. After an accident, he ends up in A&E and decides to take the ED staff hostage, ending in a big standoff. It was played really beautifully. There was a long, tense sense that managed to bring all the regular characters together. Every regular actor thought they were in the spotlight like a leading actor would feel. It felt like it was one of the few times during the show that it felt like we were in a theater play that was being filmed. He continued, it took Charlie back to the place of when he lost Duffy, when Charlie thought he had nothing to lose and was trying to help the man. Charlie knows where this situation could go with the man. He could end up dead, or he finds his way through to a better life. It's a simple choice: you sign your own death warrant, or you do something to help your kid. Please subscribe our channel.